Right, this time, 2021, we've got a bit of functions differentiation. So all paper one stuff still. So the function is defined by that. It's my U-shaped function. 3x squared is a plus x squared. Find f of 0.67. Now what you see they've done there, they've replaced the x with 0.67. So the only thing you can do there is horse in 0.67 in for my x. You fire that in your calculator, type it as you see it, now practice it, so make sure you can do it. And when you do that, you get 4.33. It says the 2 decimal places. Find the value of x for which f of x is equal to 4. Now in functions, you either sub it in or you let it equal. But if you see there, f of x is equal to 4, we have up here what f of x is. So instead of saying f of x, I'm going to replace it with that. Now bring across that 4. When that 4 comes across, the sign changes. Plus 7 minus 4 gives you plus 3. Open up your brackets if you wish, or do your minus b formula. Now there's only one value of x, so your a, b, and c. And your minus b formula. And throw the numbers into the formula. When you type that in, you only get one answer. You get 1 for each of your answers. So it's only one value of x. Now you could sub it back in, trial and error, throw 1 in for your x, and it should work out to be equal to 4. Next thing, use calculus to find the coordinates of the local minimum point. Now, calculus is just a swanky word for saying differentiation, which is a swanky word of saying diffin. Bap, bap. So once you see maximum, minimum, turning point, speed, rate of change, you know dy, right down here, you get your marks, dy dx, and for a maximum or a minimum, it's equal to 0. The reason it's a minimum, remember we said your 3x squared is a U-shape, it only has a minimum turning point. If it was a minus x squared, it would have a maximum turning point. But the slope of that tangent is 0. So dy dx is equal to 0. I've got 3 or 4 out of 10 already. So the function was, you go up, back up to the page, I have my exam papers open. 3x squared minus 6x plus 7, diff it, let it equal to 0. So 3x squared becomes 6x. Remember, multiply down by the power, reduce it by 1. Minus 6x becomes minus 6. And then your number disappears. Now you're going to have to find your coordinates. And a coordinate, remember, is made up of an x and a y. So we'll work out our x here. So x equal to 1. And then to work out your y, you sub it back in all the way up. Remember, f of x is the same as writing y up there. And when you work that out, you get y to be equal to 4. So your point is 1, 4. The other question I'm going to do is a bit of a brute, but it links into functions, calculus, differentiation is number 8. So here, a square sheet of cardboard of say 10 units. So it's 10 there, it's 10 up there. It's a square. Length and width are the same. It's used to make an open box. Squares of side x units are removed from each corner and it's folded along the dotted lines. So these bits all fold up, if you get me. So there's no lid on it, but they fold up to give the side. So the base isn't 10 centimeters long or 10 centimeters wide. It's got two of these wee chunks, X, taken out of it. Now, say if the two wee chunks were 1 centimeter, that means that would be 8. How did you get that? 10 minus 1 minus 1. So same thing here. It says in terms of X. In terms of X means leave X in your answer. So your length is going to be 10 minus X minus X. And that simplifies. Minus X becomes minus 2X. 10 minus 2X. Your breadth is the same. And then your height is how much it folds up. Folds up X centimeters, which is your height. That's tough. Show that the volume of the box can be written. Now to find the volume of the box, it's length by width by height. And we're using these previous answers here. So if we fact up here, we're not going to get that answer, but it's crucial that you make up something. You get some 10 marks if you know the volume's length by width by height. Bust your brackets. Say I'm going to do my 10 minus 2x by 10 minus 2x first. Tidy that up. And now multiply by x. And we get the same answer as what it says. So that's my volume. Explain why a height of 6 units cannot be made. Now, if we look, one of our expressions for length and width was 10 minus 2x. So if I filled in my side to be x centimeters, be 10 minus 2 times 6, be 10 minus 12, which is minus 2. Can you have negative length or negative width? No. Therefore, it's probably the wrong use of it there. Cannot have negative length and width. Next thing is a wee bit of calculator work. I wish I could show you my calculator in this. Just that I've got the old crappy Chromebook with me. I'm not getting any advertising deals with these ones anyway. Complete the table below to show the values of that between 0 and 5. Now from the table we can see there it goes between 0 and 5. We can also see the steps to be 0.5. So this is where you go like mode 3, is it in your calculator? Or menu in 3 in your calculator. Yeah, menu in 3 if it's a new one. And you enter your table. Now your rule is at 4x cubed. You start at 0. You end at 5. And your steps is 0.5. They're going up 0.5 each time. And you'll know if you're right from these values which they give you. 0.5, 40.5, and 4.5, and 4.5. Now when you do that, I have a table looking like the following. $62.5 that says, but you'll know if you're right or wrong. It's crucial that you know how to do this. So spend your time. 31.5, 16, 4.5 and 0. And you've got a graph or plot them using the points then. 0.5 and 40.5, so they'll not be looking too much at it. and then join that up. Nice smooth curve. So for linear and for quadratics and cubics, which this is to the power of 3, nice smooth curve. No need for your rulers. And that's my function v of x. And it says use your graph to estimate the following. So when it says use your graph, you're going to have to put lines in your graph. The maximum volume of the box. So maximum volume, now I know from the table, the maximum volume I'm getting is about 73.5. So what I'm going to do is get my ruler now, go up with the maximum volume, and just go across. Now they'll still give you a range. I can see there it's 73.5 in the table, or 74. The values of x, so I need to get back down the x-axis, which will create a box of volume 30. Now, there's my volume here. You got to go across to where it hits the graph, and then go down for each of these. And when you do that, you might get about 0.35 and 3. Well, what is 3.5 is 31.5, slightly more, 3.6. And the volume of the box when x is 2.8. When x is 2.8, go across there from 2.8 up to where it hits the graph, and go across. Now, if you're being cute about it, sub in 2.8 and for your x there. That'll give you the perfect answer. And my answer's coming in above 50. Wish I had a ruler. Probably about 52, 53. But you could throw it into your calculator and check. And that's it. So go back over those, practice them again and again and again.